What's up, guys, and welcome to the Tim's Sports Talk, where we are going through every game of the NBA playoffs, going ahead and give a recap. Today is August 22nd, Saturday. No KP tonight. He's going through a master's program, so he's got a bunch of stuff to do with that. But he'll be in here every other night or so, every couple of nights a week at least. But today we just got me, Tim, and we're gonna go through these games. And here we go. We had the first game of the day. We had the Bucks versus Magic. Giannis was huge today. He had 35 points on 12 of 14 shooting, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and that was all done in 31 minutes of game time. Beastly. Definitely MVP numbers. For the Magic, you had a couple guys off the bench. You had DJ Augustine, who had 26 points, 24 points. Terrence Ross had 20 points. And the Magic really didn't shoot poorly. They shot 47.5% from three-point, 44% from the field on the game. But the Bucks were just too much, and they just came out and steamrolled them. They were up by 20 in the second quarter. There was only one big story to come out of this, and it was a James Ennis for the Bucks and Marvin Williams for the Magic got chippy in the second quarter, and they were kind of banging down low. And then neither of them really liked it, and then the both teams started going down the other way, and they stayed to kind of get in each other's faces. A coach from I think it was the Bucks and a ref kind of got in between them. Williams for the Magic kind of like threw his arm threw one of the coaches down to the ground, and they got split up pretty quick, so there was no punches thrown or like anything crazy. It was mostly just mouthing back and forth, couple pushes. But and there's an argument that Williams definitely should have been thrown out because he threw. I don't really see the Ennis getting thrown out. Yeah, there was some chippiness, and yes, there was definitely should have been technical fouls for both of them. But what I think they were seeing is a 20-point blowout in the second quarter, and neither of them are really marquee players. So they just said, "Yep, you're both out. We don't need that today. Let's just keep these PG." And continue to move on through this game because we all know that this is not going to be pretty. Of course, the Bucks ended up winning 121-107, and that was one of the closest points of the game. I mean, the Magic really, I think they brought it in maybe within 12 at one point in the third, but it was never seemed like the Bucks were going to lose that one, and so the Magic were able to steal game one, but I don't see them stealing any other ones. So game two, we had the Heat versus the Pacers. This one was interesting. Came down to it again, but the Heat ended up winning 124-115. Butler had 27 points, but he had 20 free throw attempts. 17 for 20 from the free throw line. He only made $5 then or whatever because he did not. I think he went 5 for 16 from the field. It was not necessarily a good day. Yeah, 5 for 16, 0 for 2 from 3. But he ended up with 27 points, 8 rebounds, a lot of free throws. And the Heat shot as a team 52 free throws on the game, making 43 of them. That is an insane number. Just to go back to the Bucks Magic, both teams only shot 31 combined. Like, so 17 for the Bucks, 14 for the Magic. The Heat had 52 attempts just by themselves. Crazy number. Bam Adebayo, had 22 points and 11 rebounds. And then for the Pacers, the big guy of the day was Malcolm Brogdon, who went for 34 points and 14 assists. He was the entire Pacers offense, especially in that second half when they were making their comeback. Because Miami was up 18 at the half. I think it got up to like 22 in the third quarter. The Pacers brought it all the way back to within 2 late in the fourth quarter. And they had a chance with 50 seconds left, down by 4. They called timeout. They got an inbounds play, and it ended up going to Warren instead of Brogdon. And Warren did not seem to know what to do with the ball. He was he seemed like he wanted to get it to Brogdon, like, what is he doing? But Brogdon kind of just like stepped back, and like I guess he thought that TJ Warren was going to handle it. So then TJ Warren kind of like does this like spin move up at the top of the key that was real soft, ends up just losing the ball, and the Heat come out and they obviously ended up winning by 9 points. But it was a close game down there towards within a minute, 4 points, and seeing in the next game how close that game really, or how close that is. Like it really is. Unfortunately, the Pacers couldn't steal this one. I like the heart they had today, though, to come back from 20 points down, and I think they have the skills. So I still see this being a 5-game series. I think the Pacers will come back and win game 4, but then the Heat will finish it in game 5. We shall see. The Heat are definitely good enough to win this. But their shooters are going crazy. Obviously, we know Duncan Robinson's a great 3-point shooter. But Dragic went 5 for 10, and I think he had like 3 of them in the first half. Hero, I think, made 2 3-pointers in the first half, but he went 3 for 6 on the day. Like, their 3-point shooters are just going berserk right now. And as I said, Jimmy Butler he ended up with 27, but it wasn't a great game. He was even a -2 on the plus-minus. And so he didn't even have a great game, and yet they still win this. But I think that the Pacers will come back. I think they'll have a chance to win in game 4 and Miami in 5. On to the third game of the day. We have game 3 of the Thunder versus Rockets. I'll hold off on the score of that one because it got interesting down the stretch. But just a little stat. James Harden went berserk with 38 points. But then again, it was a high volume shooting night. He shot a lot in this game. I wish I had that up here, but so he didn't shoot particularly well. He had 27 shots to get 38 points, 3 of 13 from 3-point land. So it wasn't necessarily his best game because I don't know how to say his first name. Dort, maybe, for the OKC, but Dort played really, really good defense on Harden, making him earn all of those points, and obviously held his field goal percentage down on the day. And when it's like whenever somebody else is guarding him, Harden really took him hard, but Dort played really tough all game. So a huge player for OKC was Dennis Schroeder off the bench, a 6th man of the year candidate. Showed why he is in that conversation. He had 29 points off the bench with 5 assists. He was only 2 for 10 from 3, but he had a huge 3-pointer in the fourth quarter over Harden that was really important bucket down the stretch. CP3 played much better today. He was 11 for 20 with 26 points, 4 for 6 from 3-pointers, 5 assists. So this is what went down the stretch. So we had OKC down by 5 with 2 minutes to go. And Schroeder knocks down that 3-pointer I just alluded to over Harden to bring it into a 2-point game. But then you had PJ Tucker answers with about a minute to go to put them back up by 5. So with 59.8 seconds to go, OKC is down by 5. CP3 immediately gets the ball at half court and he doesn't even hardly have to change direction. Just runs right past Harden. Easy layup, 2 points, so that they got 3-point game now. Rockets miss a bucket, and then CP3 again just drives right past Harden, gets it to Steven Adams for an easy layup because Steven Adams guy came over to help. Here we go. He just throws it right over the rim. Easy 2 points. So now we're down by 1, and then there was a questionable call on the inbound play, the very next inbound play, where both Harden and CP3 are kind of like hugging each other. It's even arguable that Harden was doing more of the hugging than CP3. And then he also bulldozes him. But then CP3 gets called for the foul, and it was an away from the ball foul, so it was an automatic free throw for James Harden, and Houston gets the ball back. So James Harden makes another free throw to go up 104 to what was it? It was 103-101, and then they end up getting a bad pass from House. He throws a bad pass, and then we have CP3 with the ball again, down by 2, 103-101. Gets a pick, Harden switches to him, and CP3 again just goes right by him, but this time there's 2 helpers. He kicks it out for 3 to Alexander. Boom, knockdown, goes up 104-103, and it's with about 19 seconds left. So just like that, within 40 seconds, it went from a 5-point game from OKC down to now a 1-point lead. And They pass the ball into Jeff Green on the next inbound play because Dort was all over Harden at half court. There was no way Harden was getting this ball. He passes it to Jeff Green. Jeff Green then passes it to Gordon. Gordon immediately touch passes it to a driving House. House gets tripped up. We have 2 free throws. House is an 81% free throw shooter from the line, and he makes the first one. But then he bricks the second one. Schroeder gets the rebound. They call timeout immediately. So there's 8.7 seconds to go. CP3 again gets the ball up at the top of the key. Dort actually comes up from the right side, and you could see CP3 wants him a pick to the right, but he for some reason goes around to the left, so he doesn't get that pick. But then there's a second pick. CP3 runs around. Guess who's on him again? James Harden. CP3 runs right around him to the basket, but this time there's 2 closers, and he goes for the reverse layup, splits the defense, goes for the reverse layup, brick, misses, hits the back of the rim, so close, goes into overtime, 104-104, and Harden, within the first minute, gets fouled out of the game, and there was nothing the Rockets can do from there. They end up getting steamrolled in overtime, losing 119-107, so it was a 15-3 game in the overtime period, and it was all over from there. So my prediction of the Rockets in 7 is still alive. Rockets did not go 3-0 in OKC, but there was a big important thing. Right now we're waiting on Steven Adams. Ended up getting hurt late in the game, and so we're waiting to see if that's going to be a lingering issue into the next game. They had said at the time during the game that they were just saying that he was not going to return. So hopefully that is not a big deal for Steven Adams' case. I still picked Rockets, so it's not a big deal for me. But at the same time, you'd never want to see a player get hurt, especially not one that gets 13 rebounds and 10 points a game on average. So that hopefully he comes back and we get a good game for CP3 going 26 points with 5 assists, 6 rebounds. It was a great game, especially down the stretch. CP3 showed his importance down that stretch. I mean, you can see every single play he was involved, and it was a good game from CP3. On to the last game of the night, we had the Lakers versus Trailblazers. Lakers came back last game and destroyed the Trailblazers by like 30 points. And so we can see how the Blazers answered, and they came out firing. It was a good first half. They ended up coming out of the first half with up by 4. CJ McCollum hit a buzzer beater to go up by 4. CJ McCollum had 20 points. Dame Lillard had 22 points in the first, both of them in the first half. So it looked like it was going to be an interesting game. But then LeBron was just phenomenal in this game. He did have a lot of turnovers. He had 8 turnovers on the game, and he did miss 5 free throws, but those all came in the first half. The second half, he made all 5 of his free throws, but he had 38 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists in just 34 minutes of play. He was all over the place. He also got to the line 17 times. So he was very, very important in this game, as he usually is. It is LeBron, but he brought this to a 116-108 game for the Lakers, and they took the lead in the third quarter and never looked back, and it was never really in doubt. The Trailblazers never really had anything going, unfortunately, in the second half. But good news for the Trailblazers is that Lillard dislocating his a finger on his left hand last game did not seem to be affected at all. He went 5 for 11 from 3-pointers. He was 13 for 14 at the free throw line. I saw him many times dribbling with his left hand. He never looked like he was favoring it in any way. So that was good for the Trailblazers. And CJ McCollum had 28 points on the game, but he needed 25 shots to get it, and he had 0 free throw attempts. Same thing with Carmelo. Carmelo also had 0 free throw attempts in a game where LeBron had 17, Anthony Davis had 14, and Dame Lillard had 14. So it's not like the refs were swallowing their whistle this game. They need to be more aggressive, attack that basket, draw some more fouls, because that 28 easily could have turned into 36 with 8 free throws at the line, and they ended up losing by 8 points. That's a tie game now if you can get into there. And if that I think Carmelo had 20 on the game, and yeah, that turns into 24, 26 points with 4 to 6 free throws or so. Like, that could be a huge difference in the game here. And because Dame Lillard had 14 free throws in the game. Trailblazers as a team only had 19 free throws. So the rest of the team only took 5 free throws on the day. They went 5 for 5, but you need to get to the line more because when you shoot 41% from the field, 34% from three-point land, you have to be able to get to the charity strike, and they were not doing it. Whereas the Lakers, they shot 65.1% from the free throw line, but they got there 43 times. So they had 28 free throw points, where the Trailblazers, yeah, they only missed 1 free throw, but they only had 18 points from the free throw line, and that is going to be tough to win a game. I would like to see CJ McCollum and Carmelo Anthony get into the bucket more, drawing some fouls, and I think they can come back and win Game 4, but it's going to be a stretch. I don't think that the Lakers are going to win 4 in a row. I think Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum and this crew are too good to lose 4 in a row. I do have the Lakers in 6, so I don't know if it's going to be the Portland Trail Blazers win this next game or the game after, but I do see them winning at least one more game, and I'm glad to see Damian Lillard having no problems with his left hand. He still had 34 points on the night. That's great to see. So that is the NBA playoff recap for August 22nd, Saturday. Put any comments down there that you think. Let me know where you think I'm wrong. Let me know what's going on. And subscribe to the channel, like the video, share with your friends. And until next time, see ya.